Hi, Natalia.
Hello.
I want to just begin with a thank you. Thank you for taking the time today to spend time with me to answer these questions and to help my group present this presentation on cultural diversity and for our class to learn what it's like to be someone from a culture that is here in the United States. So Natalia is a rehab counselor and she is from Colombia. And Natalia actually has been here in the United States since she was 17. So we're going to begin the interview really just to help us out. Tell us about what it was like growing up in Colombia, your life, your family system there in Colombia, brothers, sisters, all that great stuff that makes your history of your family. So why don't we start there? So can you tell us about that?
Good. Yes, as you say, my name is Natalia and I am from Colombia. Came here when I was 17. I come from a very large family. I'm the youngest of 13. And my older brother is 63. I'm 41. Everyone is still alive. So very, very big family.
Parents too? Parents are still alive?
Yeah, they're still alive too.
Are they here or in Colombia?
No, they're all in Colombia.
Okay.
I only have one brother in Orlando, and the rest of my family are in Colombia.
Okay.
But when growing up, everyone was here. Even though I have this big family, when growing up, we're not all together because I have two sisters that lived here and 5 or 6 of my brothers. So I did not grow up with them pretty much because they were here.
Okay.
But I am, as I said, I'm the youngest. And the reason I came to the United States was because my goal in life was to become a dentist. When I graduated from high school, I applied to the university in Colombia, and I did not get accepted because I did not speak the language. So it was suggested that if I had the opportunity to come here to do it and then go back. That was my goal at that time, but things changed when I got here. So, and I never ended up going back.
Okay.
I met my ex-husband, and then we married, and I had my son, and I decided to stay, and I've been here for the past 25 years.
Okay. So you met your ex-husband here in the States. You stayed. You have 1 child or 2?
I have 2.
You have 2. Okay. And just if we just go back to what it was like being the youngest. And I'm always interested in the whole parenting, so did you even know your mom? Like, did your mom take care of you, or did like an older sister take care of you? Like, how did that, tell me about that too, because that does relate to you, I think, being a parent too.
Yes.
Right, okay. So tell us about that.
I think growing in a family that is that big is hard. It's difficult because you don't get to know each of your siblings the way you want to get to know them. So my mom was 40 years old when she had me. She already had 12 kids. So I always say probably at that time my mom was sick and tired of having kids. But
Exhausted.
Yeah, so it was my older sister who was always making sure that I had everything that I needed. My mom was always there for me, but I never had that kind of relationship that I have with my daughter. Where my daughter comes to me, I'm not her best friend, but she knows that she can count on me for anything. I did not have that kind of relationship with my dad, with my mom, but I did have it with my dad, because my dad, I was daddy's little girl. He was always there for me. And my brothers, I can say that I was spoiled because I have 6 of them were here in the United States. So if I wanted something from like Hello Kitty stuff, they would send it. If I wanted rollerblades, they would send it. Yeah. So I had everything that I wanted pretty much when growing up. My older sisters did not have the luxury, but I did. Mm-hmm. So it is hard. It was hard for me when I came here, because I did not have that, like that family-oriented situation anymore. Even though I had sisters here, it was not the same because everyone here was pretty much doing their own thing. So.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But it was very hard when you asked me how it relates to me being a a mom now, it is very different because the kind of relationship that I have with my kids is not the relationship that I have with my mom. It was a while, well, first of all, let me say that I became pregnant before getting married. So that was a dishonest to my family, and my mom did not talk to me for several years, 2 years, until I got married in the church. And I never felt like I could talk to my mom about anything because it was always that distance, it was always like that barrier between her and I. And I'm thinking it's because it's just how she grew up, that's how she was raised. There was never any communication between parents and children because I don't know if it was seen as a disrespect for children to tell their parents about their feelings, or I don't know what the reason is, but that's what it happened to me.
So when you say that, it makes me think then, because we talk about roles, like family roles. So your dad's expectation of the male expectation in the family, and then the mom, the female expectation in the family. Is it fair to say that maybe the mom, females are to have children and to take care of the children and make sure that they, go to school and follow the religion, and dads are the caretaker, the provider, I guess? Is that what you see? Is that part of who you are? Is that like your family system?
Yes, but I have the sense that things have changed a lot. When growing up, women did not work outside of the house. Women always stay home. And I'm just going to speak for my mom. My mom raised 13 kids. She never worked outside of the house because her role was to stay home, be the homemaker, and dad was the one going out there to hustle and provide for the family.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't happen to me here. When I came here, I wanted to stay home with my kids, but I didn't have the luxury. And I don't know if it's luxury or if it's the opportunity, because I couldn't. I only was able to stay with my son for 6 months, and then I have to go back to work because I have to help provide for the family. That was a struggle for me because my dad was always the provider. So why couldn't I find a man like my dad that was going to, let me stay home, take care of my kids, and don't work? So I struggled with that at the beginning, but then I realized that that's how people live in America. In Colombia, you stay home, you raise your kids. But again, that was back then. I know that things are changing now because the economic situation is not the best. So in order to have a comfortable life, they now need 2 incomes as well.
So when you say this is how it is in America, I can see that there has to be a definite adjustment from coming from another country, now here, and being in America, and how it is in America. So it's interesting. So tell me about then religion, because that's part of the family value too. Tell me about religion and the importance of religion in your family. Has it always been something that has been a part of you growing up, where you go to church and it's a value system that you have? Because I can see that relating to your life now. Having children prior to getting married, like you said, that's not a religious thing. But tell us about religion and in your family system.
It is, and it has been a very, very important part of our lives. I grew up in a Catholic family, and I continue to be a Catholic, practicing Catholic, very, very involved in the church, as well as my kids. They are, because I want to pass that on to them. I always went to Catholic school. I studied elementary and high school with nuns, and I was always, going to church. My mom in Colombia, you go to church every single day because there were masses all day long. Here, so that was an adjustment because here you only have 2 masses, one Saturday and then one on Saturday and one on Sunday. In Colombia, anytime you want to go for confession, you go because there's always priests there. If you want to go to mass, you can go at any time because the church is always open. That's not what happens here. So it was very it is still a very important part of my life. And I am, as I said, I'm passing that on to my kids because I want them to have the same beliefs. So I try my best, and I know they're adults. Well, my son is an adult, and he continues to be practicing Catholic. If they change down the line, well, I did do my part. That's their decision, but I did do my part because I want to pass on what my mom passed on to me, and it was that belief, that faith. And I know that's why she struggled so much when I became pregnant, because that's not what I expected. I was expected to get married first and then have kids. That's not what happened. And I think about it and I'm like, why did that happen? And I came to the conclusion that in Colombia I was very sheltered. Like if I was to go out, it was to go with my sisters. If I was not with my sisters, I have to be in the house by 8:30. If not, I was late. And then I have to deal with my mom. When I came here, even though I was still living with two sisters, it was like this door open for me. So
Freedom.
I was freedom, yeah. So I was able to do whatever I wanted.
Right.
So that taught me so many things because the way I raised my kids are not as sheltered as I was, but they're free to tell me how they feel. They're free to tell me if something's bothering them. I never had that freedom with my mom. So I want that to be different, that when my kids go to college, well, my son just graduated college, but when they had that freedom, that they know how to use that freedom and not how we did it. You know what I mean? Because
Yes,
it was
you
just
do.
like,
Yeah, they can talk to you.
Right.
You're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
but like, I didn't. So when this big door opened for me, I went crazy.
You walked right through it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So a little bit more then about the adjustment with your customs and traditions. Like, how are holidays and celebrations, and tell us about that. Like, do you do that? Is it a value? Like, do you celebrate religious holidays? What's that like?
Yes, we do. But the biggest problem here is the weather. Okay, is the temperatures and the seasons, because in Colombia the weather is and I'm just speaking to you about Colombia, even though we're talking about culture in the Hispanic or Latino culture. Just telling you about
Yeah,
Colombia.
because my next question, I'm going to ask you to explain that to us.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll hold that thought, but let's tell me the culture,
So
the customs, and then let's go right into that difference, because there's a big difference you taught me.
good.
Yeah.
So I try to continue with the traditions in the customs, especially for the holidays, Christmas. But as I was saying, the weather in Colombia is always nice. So people, like
You're in the street?
in the streets, and they're doing like block parties, and it's just like so different. And people are always happy. People are always like welcoming. Hospitality is excellent. You come here, and okay, we celebrate Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. Those are the two biggest holidays during the Christmas season. You can't, like when there's snow on the ground, you just get together in an apartment and you have a nice food. Not like
You
in
can't
Colombia.
be dancing in the street.
Right. So it was a very, huge adjustment, but we always try to keep it, like consistent or not consistent, but try to do things that we used to do in Colombia. But it's very different. And here, everyone, because of the work schedules, and this is an individualistic culture, where everyone is pretty much on their own. In Colombia, it's more collectivism. It's more like we work as a community. The whole family is together. So if someone needs something, you're there. Here, my cousin lives next door to me, and months go by and I don't even see her, because everyone is so busy doing their own thing that those family values, I think, are, lose some sort of.
So it gets lost if you
Yes.
don't intentionally make them happen.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
and you said you do.
Yes.
You got to do that, okay.
Which is unfortunate.
Well, then let's move to what we were just saying about. Tell us how you identify yourself. Like, tell us that because the Census Bureau defines Hispanic Latino origin as ethnicity, right?